Put your fists up. Tip cups to the ceiling if you're sick of feeling ripped off. I let my fist off, get lit and lift off. Raise your hands if you with me and you pissed off. I'm standing on the corner of 6th Street. I'm running out of time for this week. My head's pounding, stomach shaking. It's worth it, the hunger makes it.
Alright guys, we're here for my first Let's Talk About video in this series, and we're going to talk about Star Fox. And we're doing that because I originally wanted to start doing these when I started doing Throwback Thursday. The original intent with starting with Star Fox was to play all the games and then at the end do like a comment retrospective on what games I liked, what games I didn't, a little bit of history and everything. Kind of condense the Cole's notes of the entire franchise into one kind of little block. So that's what I'm here to try today. I'm going to try to do this very off the cuff, not very scripted. At least that's what I'm going to try for the first one. They're going to have some different formats to these as we go on and try some different things. But that's where we're going to start. We're going to start talking about Star Fox. And now, as I said, I spent an entire almost 2 years playing through all of the Star Fox games, and I didn't really do a full playthrough of everything, but I did touch on every game that is available right now except Starlink, and I did not replay Star Fox Zero because, well, it's Star Fox Zero. Well, I'll get to that at some point. But we'll start at the beginning where it all began with Star Fox for the Super Nintendo. And this game is the one that started it all, obviously. It actually began on the Game Boy, as someone had jailbroken one and modified it so that it would run this kind of pseudo 3D effect. And when Nintendo got wind of it, in a hilarious, very not modern Nintendo thing, they handed him a Super Famicom dev kit and said, try making it on this. So it was always intended to be sort of this free range. I think it all started as all range. I think that was how the game originally was envisioned. And then after Miyamoto went to a shrine in Japan, he got the idea for it to be more about flying through rings and across things and doing that sort of thing, with all range mode being obviously a game mechanic that came into specific levels and bosses and whatnot. From that, it was also a Fox Shrine, and that's where we started to implement the animal forms, and that's where we get Fox and Peppy and Slippy. And this game was very rudimentary, and it lays the groundwork for everything that we see in Star Fox going forward. A lot of the enemy types stay on, just in, you know, sort of hilariously, Star Fox is essentially, as a franchise, a lot of HD remakes for the time, anyways. Star Fox, for this SNES, has, like I say, all the groundwork for what you will see in future games for things that are better, and that's really all you can say for it. It is the story and everything that is so iconic that it's just stuck this far into the future. And it is a fun game. It is definitely worth picking up and playing if you have never tried it. And especially if you love the Star Fox franchise from any point of view, it's 100% worth trying just for fun. It is also on the Switch, Super Nintendo option, whatever it is. So yeah, check that out 100%. Now from there, it gets a little bit complicated in terms of what game comes next in the franchise. Technically, it is Star Fox 2, and that is the game that we're going to talk about next, because I didn't even realize it was made as late as 1986, to be honest. The only reason I say it's complicated is because the game was never actually released, and we didn't see it until it came out on the Switch, in the said Super Nintendo suite, that you were able to play this game. And it's unfortunate that we never got it back then. It was just a little too close to the end of Nintendo 64 and what they were going to be doing with it. I didn't even realize it was made as late as 1996, to be honest with you. And it's really unfortunate because this game introduced some new mechanics. It was had more RTS elements, so you had to navigate ship fleets moving around, and you needed to be protecting Corneria while you did surgical strikes to take out enemy weapons. There was this really badass boss called the Metal Dragon, that like hunted you down, and it was really incredible. It's kind of a shame we've never seen this again in the Star Fox games because it was really cool. And you had to navigate around, and you had different ships in different classes. It was really kind of everything that you wanted nowadays. Maybe not the RTS elements, I can respect that, but the dogfighting and everything was the same, but you also had 3 varieties of ships with 6 different pilots. The Star Fox team had expanded in a way that you kind of thought would make sense. You know, you've got Kat there as well, and you've got more members going forward. You were fighting... I believe Andros is back again.
Okay.
And it just adds another really interesting element to the gameplay. And I'm not the kind of person who really actively likes real-time strategy games anymore as an adult. But I do enjoy playing this game and having that element into it. And I do think it makes it more interesting, and it really does add to the breadth of the gameplay. From there, we move on to the game that we actually did get to play next in the late 90s, which was Star Fox 64. Oh, it's basically just a rail shooter, but it's my rail shooter. Which is, as I previously mentioned, basically a remake of Star Fox for the Super Nintendo. It has some things that are stripped back a little bit in terms of the number of paths that you can take and how wide the map is. That said, there is still dozens of varieties of ways that you can get across the map in interesting and fun formats. You can zigzag your way across. My favorite way is to take the hard route and then skip the Z sector to Macbeth and then cross back up to the Armada fight. It's a lot more... There's lots of ways that you can do it, and it's a lot of fun. And it is everything that you could possibly love about Star Fox on the Super Nintendo, just executed in a way that just feels better. The only way I can describe that to you is for you to go and play both side by side and just see the difference in the controls and how it feels. Because Star Fox 64 just feels right. It is the best feeling, in my opinion, on-rail shooter, starship shooter, whatever you call it, game that you could possibly encounter, and it's really bizarre that we've never really gotten another one since, outside of like the Rogue Squadron series that's become really matched up. Outside of course, Wild Blue Skies and Whisper Squadron, First Squadron, that have released just recently. It takes full advantage of everything the Nintendo 64 had to offer in terms of its capabilities and what it could do. Like, it's the same idea where you have the on-rail sections, and then you can also go to all-range mode and enjoy open sort of areas. It had a really great multiplayer with dogfighting, and you could even unlock the bazookas, which I don't have, which unfortunately inspired other things in other games, which we'll get to next. And it was really the pinnacle of what Star Fox has come to be known as, and for most people anyways, at least for me. From there, we waited a while, and it seemed strange that we never got a second Star Fox game on the Nintendo 64, but it waited and waited and waited until the GameCube kind of rolled around, and then we had a little game called Dinosaur Planet 64 that was beginning development, and there became an idea to move it over to the GameCube, and then there became an idea to shuttle Star Fox into it, because, hey, we already have a Fox character, why not work those two worlds together? For reasons. Anyways, honestly, I do like Star Fox Dinosaur Planet. I think it's a fun idea. I think it was a great time. Especially, I'm a big fan of 3D Zelda games, so Star Fox's Dinosaur Planet is, or Star Fox Adventures is very similar to that formula, and I really did enjoy it up until I got to that last boss area, where I had to free the poor Brachiosaurus, and
not fair.
The aim controls are just terrible in that game. I will come right out and say it. The R-Wing sections aren't too bad at all, really. It's a shame there's not more of them and there's not more to do in them. But overall, the game is fun. Like I say, it just suffers from some really ill-fated shooting mechanics, unfortunately, with the staff. If it wasn't for that, the game would actually be incredibly fun. There is some frustrating stuff, physics, in terms of like running.
Like a lot of things I explore.
Other than that, it's a great game. Unfortunately, it is not exactly what anyone, myself included, was looking for. And then we did eventually get Star Fox Assault. And it is not a bad game again. It is just...
Team Star Fox.
It tried very hard to recapture the elements of Star Fox 64 while still pushing the story forward in a new way. You start off the game with Andross's nephew trying to run and winds up with Pigma getting infected by these creatures called Aporoids. So you're kind of doing this alien-esque thing where you're fighting off the bugs, or Starship Troopers sort of idea. And the rail shooting controls aren't bad. I don't know how to describe it in terms of just it doesn't feel like you're like hitting things when you're hitting things. Star Fox 64, it really feels like your lasers are impacted when you hit an enemy, whereas Assault, for some reason, just it doesn't feel quite right. Now that said, it's not to say it's not a fun game in terms of the gameplay for the Starfighters. It is actually a lot of fun. There we go. The problem is where the game falls apart is the ground missions, and I don't mean Landmaster missions. I mean running on the ground with third-person shooting. I mentioned that was something you could do in the N64. You could unlock it for the multiplayer. Well, it's a key feature in many, many levels, and it's what you have to do. You have to do these missions. And they're not really well constructed. They are often in very similar spaces that you have to move very, very far across in or a very short amount of time. It is about, later on, you have to manage both your team outside, getting shot at while you were trying to clear out the enemies on the inside or these enemy generators. And it's just really frustrating. You use these big grinding halt to the on-ramp. Fuck's sakes, Crystal. Holy shit. Really? Rail gameplay that just really kills the game, unfortunately, and has been the reason why it's not nearly as popular.
Like, I'm supposed to get to somewhere, I have no fucking clue. There's no actual map.
Now, during this time, we also had, like, 3DS and Nintendo DS games, the handhelds. They did, for the Nintendo DS, there was Star Fox, which was sort of a harken back to Star Fox 2. In terms of it had some real-time strategy elements where you had to trace your flight path in order to intercept ships coming at the Great Fox. It was a whole new enemy called the Anglars. So catfish, if you know anything about the catfish mafia, if you watched the River Monsters, it's a thing. It's a whole there. So good villain choice in my opinion. And yeah, it was really. It's also cool because you also you get. It's the core Star Fox team, but they all have different ships now, and they are all sort of different assigned. It's a nice continuation of the story from Dinosaur Planet, or Assault. I can't remember exactly where it fits in. I believe that's after Assault, maybe? Or before, I can't remember, because the team is disbanded and you're gathering everyone up again, which is cool. It's a fun story, right? The controls are a little weird in terms of you tap to shoot. You're using the joystick to fly, but you're tapping to shoot, if I remember right. It's a little awkward. Which is unfortunate, because the game looks good, and like I say, the story is a lot of fun, and again, I don't mind the RTS elements in this. 64, specifically. Really the graphics are nicely smoothed out, the textures look really nice. It's a little hard to play with man hands, in terms of the size of the 3DS, but it plays beautifully. It hits all the joints. If you liked Star Fox 64, you're going to love the 3DS version of Star Fox. From there, we hit a very long dead period. Now, Star Fox 64 was available on the Wii Store that you could purchase during its generation, but throughout that entire run, we never did see anything of Star Fox outside of Super Smash Brothers. And then we hit the Wii U era. And I don't know if you were like me, I was excited for Star Fox Zero. It was you know, it looked like everything I could have wanted. It was bringing back the chicken walker from 2. Transform, press select. What does that mean?
Oh, this is where the walkers came from in Star Fox Zero. I see now.
Also had some other mechanics, but it was these forced motion controls that were very disorienting, and you had to look at your screen to enable to shoot and had to keep switching back and forth between the TV and the Wii U, and it was very disorienting, and it was very not cool. And it also was partially made just so they could ship this little real-time strategy base defense game, which wasn't nearly as fun as the real-time strategy elements in the 2 games we've talked about prior. So it really did fall flat in terms of... I was so disappointed with it, I was managed to like exchange it for a 3DS and Star Fox 3D. Somewhere along the line, from what I gather, it's just they were very confident that the controls people would catch on with it, and people just didn't. It also didn't help that it was, again, pretty much just a remake of Star Fox SNES to 64 to 3DS to this, so it did, again, fall flat. People were just like, the Lilat system again? Which I realize right now is a little bit laughable in terms of what we're getting, but I'll talk about that soon too. And then from there, we just haven't heard anything from Star Fox in a really, really long time. And obviously he's appeared throughout the Super Smash Bros. Games. He appeared in Starlink, which is the only game that I didn't get around to getting my hands on to play. I mean, I do have it, I do own it, I just haven't taken the time to record the footage. Hopefully by the time I get this video up, I will have, but from what I gather, people say it is a fun little distraction in Starlink, and it is enjoyable, but it's not a full Star Fox game, right? So that brings us to today's to the most recent announcement, where we've seen the announcement for the Star Fox remake, and it is already out, I believe, by the time this video goes up. Yeah, and I mean, it looks pretty incredible. I mean, it again is a remake, and it doesn't have co-op in the way that we would like it to have co-op. I don't know why we can't do Rogue Squadron 3 again, but anyways, it does at least should scratch that itch for most people. I'm not going to be able to get my hands on it right away. I'm a little ways from Switch 2. So yeah, all in all, as a bonus, you can't really go wrong with a Star Fox game. Regardless of which one you pick, outside of the Wii U Star Fox Zero, you're pretty safe and guaranteed to have some sort of good time, especially if you like rail shooters, especially if you like Star Wars, or if you like Star Trek, or if you like Babylon 5. I don't know why I threw that one out there. Battlestar Galactica would be more. Rob does kind of look Cylon-ish. If you're a fan of any of those sort of sci-fi franchises, you're going, specifically Star Wars, you're going to love the Star Fox games. Even if it is a little repetitive, even if it is some misses, just near hits with all the misses involved, it is worth experiencing at least one of them. And like I say, the only one you need to avoid is Star Fox Zero. And the good news is it's on one of the most obscure consoles, so you don't really have to try that hard to get away from it. I love Star Fox. It was amazing playing through all the games, and I look forward to what the next video will be, and I'm going to try to do these for more games and game franchises once I get done playing them. We'll see if I do more of these off the cuff. We'll see if I do more of these some scripted or a little more tailored and a little more edited. We'll see. It depends on what you guys think and what you get for likes or whatever.
Hit detection, she is brutal.
Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me grow and lets me know that you guys like the content that I'm putting out there. Be sure to ring that bell. That way you know whenever new videos go up. And as always, be sure to check out more Throwback Thursday.